Hello, fabulous superstar Aries. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of October 2024. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. It is a remarkable astrological week, without a doubt. Big moves happening in the sky now. Boy, is it a very special time. And it truly is so special now. Well, it is going to be on the 2nd of the month that we have this month's new moon, but it isn't a normal new moon. This is a solar eclipse new moon energy, and it is right out of the gate as we begin. We can feel this energy building, and wow, this is a powerful one. It is speaking in a conversation of tension with Mars. And Mars, of course, being your ruling planet means that much more of you is involved in what is transpiring now. But it's not only that, it's that what we have is Mars at the foundation of your chart, having to do with your own sense of rootedness, your own sense of comfort, and your understanding of where you've been and how that's lent itself to where you are today. And it is that eclipse that is in your opposite sign, which has to do with partnerships of all kinds. To me, as I look at this is a lot stirring, including frustration, a desire for things to be different. You looking at the people whom you are aligned with, and in some way, either you are being asked to change or you're considering whether or not you need a change now. New people can come in with this energy, but it looks like you're driven towards them because of that feeling of frustration you probably feel now with either connections from the past or connections that are playing out with people you have a well-established history with. Those one-on-one interactions with others can push some very deep buttons now. That's where you do want to be careful. The thing to be most mindful of here is that whatever you might find triggering, because that is a big theme here, understand that it may or may not necessarily have to do with what is happening right now. It might be that really there's an innocent exchange, but because of the history you are bringing to this moment is what is contributing to a certain interpretation that is bringing forward a certain response within you. But it's also possible that this is happening with somebody else now. They are having a response. They seem to be triggered, and you get to decide what it's going to mean, how you're going to interact with it, and going forward from here. Now, this is going to be incredibly important in the context of love for a lot of Aries out there, and I'll talk about that in just a little bit. We have two really big celestial events happening quite close to each other. On the 9th of the month, Jupiter goes retrograde. On the 12th of the month, Pluto goes direct. And all of this energy, these two big factors, wow, these are energies that all of us are going to feel in powerful ways. Whenever a planet is standing still, preparing to change directions, its energies are that much more heightened. That planet tends to be closer to the Earth than it might otherwise be, as is the case now. Jupiter continues to move through a part of the sky that has to do with communication, conversation, and siblings, cousins, and neighbors. So these people may figure prominently, especially right around the 9th, with developments taking place in their lives. There is every reason for hope here. There certainly can be a moment of elation or meaningful healing happening in those particular connections, especially where it's needed. It's going to feel that much more notable. At the same time, though, this is where synchronicity is going to feel very high. And you find yourself in the right place at the right time, connecting with the right person, and it can make all the difference now. It is that Pluto, though, going direct that is a really big deal. Going direct at the top of your sky. Take note, because whatever's happening, it represents an important culmination of a longer transit that you've been in since 2008. This is the last time in your lifetime that you are going to have Pluto stationary direct at the top of your sky. It is going to be in November that Pluto will leave this part of the sky and spend the next 20 years in a friendship part of your sky. So I'll be here to talk about it every step of the way. And you know, I have been talking about it as well because it's a really big deal of an energy. But with this month, it gives you a chance to look at what meaningful success looks like for you, but also to get really honest about what you feel your purpose is, where it is that you feel you could be more ethical, I think for most Aries, this is going to represent feeling like there's something you really want, whether it's a change to your career path, some success that you're going for, or even just some sense of greater meaning and authenticity where it comes to what it is that you feel you're meant to do with your life. All of these feelings are going to stir really strongly now. If it is that you have toxic relationships with bosses or people in positions of authority in your life, I'm so sorry to say that tendency could stir very strongly now. And yet, ultimately, this is about empowering you, helping you to understand some truth about who you are and what it is for you to move forward from here, what it is for you to now get honest about what type of bosses are you going to keep around? What can you do if you feel that you're in a toxic situation with a boss? What power do you have? What changes can you make? How are you going to go about it? It can also be you getting honest about the career path that you've been on and where it is perhaps it's not worth as much as you are giving. And at the same time, this could be you finding a deep dedication to a pathway forward that matters to you. Life purpose doesn't necessarily mean that it aligns with career. If it is that you are expanding your perspective of what purpose is going to mean for you, well, this can be one of those moments that helps you get really clear about what is worth committing to, what aims you thought were really for you, but actually are just an expression of some deeper wounding. And we're now, in many ways, you're ready to grow, become something more real than you were before. The 17th of the month brings this month's full moon, and it is in your sign. This is a really big deal. Having a full moon in your sign tends to be a 1-year event, and it is one of these moments where you can't help but be honest with yourself about some truth near and dear to your heart. And very often, it's a truth of what you feel that maybe has been there all along. You just didn't want to or weren't ready to look at it, but now it just becomes so obvious. The full moon is hand in hand with Chiron, meaning that there's going to be a lot of vulnerability stirred. But this can actually be part of the promise of this time. At the same time, we've got Mars squaring this full moon. And if you think back, right, just earlier in the month, in the first days, we get that eclipse. It's also squaring Mars. Now here we are again. Your ruling planet intimately involved in this full moon energy with precision. It does suggest that, again, there's frustration. There's a desire for things to be different. There's a need to acknowledge what it is that you might feel angry about. But ultimately, the power is with you. And there may just be a situation now that stirs you very deeply. And it feels like all this vulnerability comes to the surface and you get to decide what you're going to do with it, even if it's hard. And I'm so sorry to say, but it does happen. We have these key moments that they do move something within us, but they also make us aware of where the opportunity is now to heal something and move forward. It's about getting ourselves right with the present moment, with where we are right now, so that we're no longer just driven by, motivated by deeper wounds, and we don't even realize we're reacting to external stimuli based on those wounds rather than what is actually happening today. And we all do it, but those moments of awareness, they are part of speeding forward a leap in consciousness that ultimately does move us towards greater wholeness. And that is the great opportunity here. And so, yeah, some Aries are going to feel very vulnerable, feel exposed in some way, and that's not comfortable. And yet there's tremendous power at this time to have some insight into the truth of who you are, who you know yourself to be, what matters to you most, what matters to you first, and deciding you are going to give your full effort towards those things that really matter now. Where it comes to matters of love, I'm going right back to that eclipse energy that we have early in the month, on the 2nd of the month. When we have important lunar activity in your opposite sign, it means that someone is there to help you to understand where you are in love and how you feel about it. And all of that is going to stir very strongly for you now, as some very strong feelings about where you are in love are likely to come to the surface. This is a solar eclipse. It may bring with it new opportunities to connect with another, but it also brings with it a more profound understanding of the people that you're aligned with and where it is you desire to go forward from here in the context of love. For those of you open to meeting someone new, like I said, someone's going to be there. Someone tends to pop up because some of the more important insights and moments of realization that feel like they come out of nowhere very likely is going to happen in one-on-one exchanges with others. And this especially plays out in the context of love. You very likely may be connecting with someone new. It does look like passions stir very strongly. Now, that could be the type of electricity that propels you towards them, or it could be an exchange that leaves you feeling uncertain or uncomfortable in some way. And I'm so sorry to say, but it does happen. Ultimately, this is an awakening that helps you to take an honest evaluation. What do you really want? What are you really going for? And how now you're ready to move towards it. For those of you just starting to date somebody, I see this as a big moment of truth. And this could be a very all or nothing moment. That's how eclipses like to operate. Either you're going to see things in this person that feel like they leap you towards partnership, and it looks like there's a lot of passion in the mix, or you are going to realize things about this person that make you say, okay, this is not the road I meant to go down. At the same token, what we might also have here is a sense of moving in a whole other direction. There could be somebody new that pops up now as well. And yes, there may be some tension within you as you're trying to figure out the right course of action for you. And ultimately, your answers are going to be uniquely your own. With eclipses, whatever takes place is powerfully karmic. It's like their time has come. And they represent breakthrough moments. And either that breakthrough is going to take you further along this path with this person you're getting to know, or it's going to have you going a whole other way. And for those of you in an established bond, well, look, for the overwhelming majority, it's going to feel like a fresh chapter of sorts. It may come about through some discontent, the recognition of what needs to be different, and whether it's you that shows up differently or your partner, it's an opportunity to feel a fresh energy rushing in that ultimately strengthens the bond. If there is a small percent out there, if you felt for a while that maybe you're not in the right relationship for you, I think there's a lot of clarity to be had with this solar eclipse energy. It's like in an instant, you see the relationship differently. And it's not always what you think it is. And so sometimes it really is like very obvious. You've been feeling for a long time, this isn't the one for you, and it becomes really clear. And a part of the reason it becomes clear is because of your own anger that might have been bottled up until now, where it's right there on the surface. But also possible is there's a whole other perspective that makes you realize that the things you were frustrated about, really, you don't need to give them power anymore. And perhaps it is that you see things now in your partnership that make you realize you want to connect and commit that much more deeply. There's not a lot of middle ground where it comes to eclipse energy. What there is a whole other way of understanding the alliance. And that in turn determines whether you're all in or you're really not. What I love about this month for you, there's so much here. It's a powerful and meaningful astrological moment. I'm going to say I love the energy of, well, look, we've got hugely important energies, right? I'm going to say the eclipse energy just because it does stand out in a very big way. You're not going to have another eclipse in your opposite sign for another 9 years or so. So we've got a nice long pause going forward from here. Early next year, the North Node will leave your sign. Again, I'm going to be here to talk about it every step of the way. But consider that this month, Mars, your ruling planet, moves into shadow. And of course, there will be a Mars retrograde special, so be on the lookout for that. But in many ways, with part of the Mars retrograde season taking place with Mars at the foundation of your chart, you're really understanding rootedness differently now and in the months ahead. And that understanding is what is fueling not only eclipse energy, but full moon in your sign energy as well. It is a powerful time that is putting you on a course of greater self-honesty. That changes you from the roots onward and from the inside out. Well, thank you so much for watching. You can get a video like this each and every week for each and every sign for as low as just $3 a month with Choose Your Membership rate. Higher tiers get you things like all access passes to Synchronicity University events, consultations with me, and so much more. All of this in the Superstar space at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com. Links are in the description below. Thank you again for watching. It'll be a great month. Enjoy.